Very active.
For what?
You
You want to switch or
Okay.
you got, go for it.
You dress. That's
Interesting.
It's a great.
My mom was like, if you don't have Buffalo, you're not gonna like Rochester.
The weather.
I-
You don't get the same.
Well, now.
The different lakes.
Definitely get. Definitely matters.
How you doing? Good, good. It's free. Did you see the rainbow?
There were rainbows.
Oh, yeah, there were rainbows.
I wanna see a rainbow.
I did too. Weren't they beautiful? Everybody was
Oh,
pulling
good.
over on Sweet Home to take pictures. It was so pretty.
It doesn't stay on that one.
Yes.
I
Don
mean,
missed it.
implicit in it.
It was because I came in the building. And come on. Rainbows and sunshine.
And
That's what my life
unicorns.
is
That's
all
what Don
about.
Feldman is.
That is me.
Now I'm nauseous.
Dr. Genestri agrees. Look at.
I don't know what I walked in on, but,
Dr. Genestri, you want to see if you can connect?
sure.
'Cause I know you had some difficulties last time.
What age were you looking for? There's oh, the one that we just did. Okay, wait, I think that's like down, hold on.
I don't know what it is with your
Gonna find,
computer.
I'm gonna find our friend and I'm going to do,
All right, I'll connect.
it might not be the system, well,
Well,
hold on, I think I got it.
okay, all right, sorry, let
Oh,
me get out.
oh, you were going in?
I was going in, but go ahead, you
Alright.
go back.
It's Apple TV, right?
It's Virgil's Apple TV.
Virgil's Apple TV. Okay, I keep getting the same.
The things,
No,
things.
I
Okay.
can't do it. And I don't know if it's a system thing or my new computer thing, but
Well, you were able to connect before. So,
can I share this one with you? Because I did one quick update.
yes, of course.
Okay.
Did you share it?
Yep.
Maybe.
Well, it should be updated now in the,
Yes.
It hasn't come through yet.
I think we're approving the audit tonight, right?
Mhm.
You know, it should work. It should be the one, I shared it with you. So if you have it from Friday, then you should have it.
Rain is back.
That rain.
There's
No
nothing-
rainbow now.
It's not on the agenda.
It's beautiful weather.
It's weird.
You
It's so weird today.
I see your pink phone.
Not ready for it.
I know.
All you had to do.
We're busy for
You know
a while.
what?
It's done.
Bonnie's just.
Jerry's magic. She can't
I'd like to see it. I'm so envious.
Put a ticket.
But you know what?
I don't know why it's not working for you.
I don't know. We'll have to.
These are nice sound
Get our-
Yeah.
That's what she told me. Mom would be,
I would stop.
We have an excellent tech department.
every day you go in there. you get something.
Excellent.
Put in a ticket first thing.
I found everything. I don't.
Yep.
Need your help with that actually though, because I don't remember.
Yes, I have no issue.
I have no idea.
She doesn't.
Best. The best. There are some advantages.
All right, we are back from executive. May I have a motion and a second to approve the agenda?
So moved.
Second?
All in favor?
Aye.
Minutes from the previous meeting. May I have a motion and a second to approve the minutes?
So moved.
Second?
All in favor?
Aye.
Communications. Does anybody have any communications to share? Okay, unfinished business. We have none. Dr. Janestri, you are up.
Okay, thank you, Mrs. Battaglia. We have a couple updates for the board tonight that we wanted to go through. But first, if Mr. Feldman wouldn't mind hitting it. This is School Board Recognition Week, and every year, you know, we must recognize the volunteer work that our school board puts in and the number of hours they put in to give us all guidance and direction on what the community feels our school should be. And so I just wanted to say, first and foremost, thank you to the Board of Education, Mrs. Battaglia, Mr. Belanti, Ms. Anthon, Ms. Jason, Mr. Johnson, Mr. Leibel, Mr. Ravenhold, for all you do each and every day. I know it's a lot of time and a lot of effort, and you're constantly approached by the public, which that, you know, your role, that happens all the time. And the lines of communication you provide us at district office is hugely beneficial for us to be able to do our jobs and do them to the best of our ability. So we just wanted to say thank you. And there's a few other people that wanted to say thank you for your efforts as well. So if Mr. Feldman could click on
Hold
that
on,
link.
sorry.
That's next year. Hopefully we have sound. Maybe not.
Closed caps.
We don't have sound.
I can get the gist of what she's saying, though. Aw,
Can we play it on my computer
Um,
so you can hear it?
can you send it to us?
Yep, it's on the presentation. It's on the updated. We'll make sure we get it on there.
hang tight. Let me just see. Sorry, I'm gonna start over here. Maybe. Is there a YouTube link? Okay.
I know.
Did you send me a YouTube link, Christine? Oh, I got it. All right, hold on. Let me try one more time.
Should we tell some dad jokes?
Dad jokes.
Blair last.
I'm sure
Nope.
it's lovely.
I can just, if you want to, I can play through my speakers here. Don, if we want to hit play at the same time, maybe you can,
Sync it up.
yeah, I'll put my.
Okay, hold on.
Too
This
bad we
is-
don't have like a teenager in the room that's
Yeah,
probably
really.
more tech savvy than all
I
of
know.
us. Like mine, that could help us with this.
Are you ready?
Yep.
3, 2, 1.
Go.
As we hope we know, our Board of Education goes above and beyond every day to support staff, students, and community. During Board of Education Recognition Week, we want to celebrate everything you do as volunteers to make a difference in our lives. Thank you for supporting our education. Thank you for being so involved and attending our events. Thank you for thinking outside the box to support all students. For making sure we have what we need to learn. Thank you for making hard decisions to benefit me and my friends. Thank you for making us feel welcome. Thank you for letting us learn by doing. Thank you for making sure we have lots of opportunities.
Thank you for making sure we have a voice in our own education.
Thank you for all you do. Thank you for all you do. Gracias. Gracias. Thank you for all you do. Mom.
Thank you for all you do.
Davis. Thank you for all you do. Thank you for all you do. 谢谢. Thank you, Mrs. Amy Battaglia. Thank you, Mr. Peter Belanti. Mr. Scott Johnson.
Thank you, Mrs. Marianne Jason.
Thank you, Mr. Brian Lible. Mr. Echo Richardson. Thank you, Mr. Dirk Rabinold. Thank you for all you do to ensure that we are truly every student, one community, ready for the future. Every student, one community, ready for the future. Every student, one community, ready for the future. Every student, one community, ready for the future.
These are the nicest
It was
gifts of
so
all.
nice.
Yeah.
I'm gonna cry.
Nice.
So,
Thank you.
thank you, Christine, for all your work on that.
Thank you.
It was cool, and Mrs. McNamara helped a lot as well. So, yeah, we just want to say thank you to the board for all you do. So,
Thank you for problem solving the text so we could hear it.
yeah, creative minds. That's what we're trying to create here. We will,
Thank you.
and I think we'll get it out to our socials and put it out there. So,
Beautiful. Oh, that was such a nice
appreciate
thought.
it.
These are the best kind of gifts, you know, when we see stuff like this and the kids do cards or they walk across in front of us, this is why we're here. So this really means
get
the
to that
most to us.
So when I walked Makisha, did I get that right?
Nope.
Out to the parking lot. Did I say it right?
Aisha?
Maisha.
Isha.
So Maisha, on the way out from last week's board meeting, we walked out to the parking lot and I asked her what she thought of our meeting. She thought it was cool or interesting, and she asked why we do what we do. And I told her, well, you know, we're volunteers. I mean, you don't get paid? Oh, we don't. So she was pretty impressed with that. So this was done very well. Thank you.
When we used to do the kids that came over from student government or their pig classes, we used to, one of the questions was, well, how much do you think we make for volunteering? We heard all, $1,000, you know, 5,000. And when they heard zero, their faces kind of like, what are you doing this for?
As I went around the first of all these kids, I talked to them and I asked them to know what a board of education.
Thank you. Thanks for all the work.
Well, thank you.
Very nice.
okay. So next, and we'll make this available to you if you don't have it already. So Don and I have been using, working with a lot of our agencies, as you know, to really start planning and putting a lot of things together for our next major capital project. And one of the things that State Ed is asking us to do is to provide them with enrollment studies for the future. Because we know we have spacing issues in our elementary buildings especially. We know we have needs that we have to address. And part of those is we talked about for the past few years is that we are in a phase, and hopefully we continue this way, where we see enrollment growing in the district. And we've done several things in the past 3 years, but we find that Power School is being, is about as accurate as we're finding, and we're going through some historical data just to show that our numbers are very accurate in what we're seeing in terms of enrollment. So we asked Power School, we worked with them, Don made contact with them a couple weeks ago to help us. And as Don mentioned, and I mentioned last week, we have also talked and engaged in conversations with the town of Amherst. So what you're seeing tonight are numbers based on a projection with additional housing at the Boulevard Mall. State Ed has asked us to provide these numbers to them, and they are recognizing our Power School predictive analytic tool as something that they will accept as our numbers go forward. So what you're seeing tonight are numbers for our next capital project to help us build a preliminary submission that would include additions primarily at Maplemere and Glendale. So these numbers would support those additions. We have to come up with building aid units for each building to support our case to put on the additions at those buildings. So what you're seeing in front of you are, the first slide is the prediction for enrollment through 2033 district-wide.
So 20, because it says 2023.
This number right over here, Mrs. Jason, 2033.
On the top. Okay.
Yeah.
on
To the
top.
far right,
Oh,
where this
sorry,
cursor
through-
is over
sorry.
here,
Yep.
to
I
the
see what
far
you're
right, the
saying.
last column is 2033.
Yep. There was a typo in that title. I apologize. So this is with the Boulevard Mall. You're seeing right now 30 in 2024, 3906. That includes our PK3 that we knew students that were bored. So you minus that 56 out. And I think I reported back to you a couple weeks ago that through September 9th, we were at 3925, I believe, or 3825, which is pretty dead on to what, where we were with Power School. So we're seeing over the next 10 years or so, anywhere between 2.5 and 0.2 growth. The analytic model that we're using is predicting growth through 2033 to the point where we would have nearly 4,400 students in the district by 2033. The percentage change is in the positive every year, district-wide. And that capacity line, that comes when we populate Power School with names. So I would just ignore that capacity line for now. But you'll notice that we are predicting, and it's been pretty accurate. Just in 2020, we were at 3485.
Can I just ask a question
Sure.
about in the past, whether we've done budget, whether we've done enrollment projections, because we've done quite a few of them in the past. We usually do a 5-year because they say really anything past that, you're starting to get into a gray area, and
Yep.
the sense of that this is going to be accurate starts to go down. What kind of confidence? I mean, this is looking at 10 years.
Yeah. From everything we've seen and going through my time in the district in year 4 now, we're pretty accurate. I'm pretty
So the
confident
confidence
in
is-
these numbers.
This takes in birth rate, this takes in
Real
all
estate
those
transactions,
UB.
Boulevard Mall, UB.
Okay.
We've worked pretty closely with them on our landscape, on our environment, on our live birth rates.
Okay,
They're getting
good.
all of that from census data as well.
Good.
So, is it 100%
Of course.
accurate?
I mean, who would have
Nothing would
predicted
be.
COVID, like that
Right.
kind of hiccup? But
Right.
if all else stays,
It's the same. This is
Okay.
what we're looking at
Okay, good.
as we move forward. And curriculum and instruction, and I'll have a report next month for you, but curriculum and instruction is helping us. We've had about 670 new students transfer into the district in the past 5 years. They're going to tell us where they're working on it now, where those students are from, their subgroups, socioeconomic status. So we'll get a picture of who's been transferring in the district over the past 5 years as well. If we go to the next slide, number 5, Don.
Are you looking at Glendale?
Sorry.
This is Glendale.
Glendale, yep, we are at Glendale. The open seats is because at the bottom, just what's in red that you see, it's just because we haven't populated the chart with names. So the open seats they're all open. They're the same number as the totals that you'll notice because we just haven't populated them with names. But Glendale is going to be close to 500 students by 2028. But then 2029, there are slight declines enrollment at Glendale. But remember, we do have exceptional classrooms at Glendale, and we do have pre-K at Glendale now as well. So it's made a pretty tight situation at Glendale. But nearly 500 students by 2029, definitely a concern as we move forward with the project and
this
something
is-
that we'll point out to state ed.
I'm sorry, this is assuming that we are at the max with our pre-K, because right now we're not completely at the max.
No, this is assuming that we are at the max with pre-K. The pre-K number that you saw on the slide
And before
beforehand,
that, yes.
that is, 223. We have 179 in-house. So it is taking into account some of those students might be going to different places,
Okay.
but we do predict them to come to
Because
us
we're trying to get
in
them back.
kindergarten. Yes. We've noticed that our pre-K number is 179, but we're still in the 250, 60, 70 range when it comes to kindergarten.
Kindergartens, yeah.
Slide 6, then, the Heritage Heights has increases even by 2029. They're predicting, and these are conservative estimates by Power School, I should let you know. By 2029 at 521 students. Currently, we're at about 429 there, so another 100 students at Heritage Heights with slight declines in 31, 32, and 33, but to keep us over that 500 student mark. At Maplemere, the numbers are exploding, and that's because Boulevard Mall is in the Maplemere district, or Maplemere is in where Boulevard Mall students would go. So any new students that come from the Boulevard Mall to attend pre-K through 5 would be at Maplemere. So you're seeing ranges at a high of 662 in 2029 with slight declines in 30 through 33.
How?
Yep.
662, like, even with additions,
That's
doesn't-
beyond
math doesn't
capacity
math.
for
Yep.
that.
Yep. So right now, don't forget that pre-K is not at
Yeah, right,
Maplemere.
right.
Correct.
So you take that 579 number in 2024 and subtract 51 students from it in the building, I will say. They're still ours, but you subtract who is physically in the building. But that 529 number is where Maplemere is at right now.
Can I ask you?
Yep.
Where are these, we now know where these students are coming from? Where are they coming from? Are they?
We're working on that
Next-
right
next
now. So
meeting.
next meeting, Mr. Raymond, we'll have a great idea to show the board what subgroups, what socioeconomic status they're coming from and where they're coming from.
Okay, so predictive analytics is artificial intelligence.
Sure.
Just preparing you for tomorrow.
Yes, thank you.
Right.
Yeah.
Thank you. All right.
Willow Ridge stays pretty steady and actually shows some decline starting in 2029. That's about where we're at now. They don't reach over 400 students, but we have added a exceptional classroom there this year. We have 3 sections of pre-K there as well. It could be another candidate for an exceptional classroom if we have a need moving forward. So we expect those numbers to hold pretty steady over time. Where we get some alarm too, but we believe we have the space. And when we look at the middle school by 2033, we're seeing inclines pretty much every year except for 2026. That we could be over 1,000 students at the middle school in 2033, based on what numbers you're seeing at our elementary schools. And at the high school, we could be at 1,200 students by the time 2033 rolls around. So, spacing and class sizes are going to be a concern there. But at the middle school and high school, we believe we have sufficient room there. We are concerned, clearly, and as the numbers show, Maplemere and Glendale being the two that might solicit more extensive look at when we go into major planning stages. But these are numbers that we did have a building use committee last week. These are numbers that we will bring to the building use committee. We will also, we're trying to get a meeting on the books with Young and Wright. We have submitted these numbers to Young and Wright. They're putting the preliminary submissions together for us and kind of helping us greenlight planning expansions at those two elementaries.
We do have a meeting on the books with Young and Wright, October 23rd.
October 23rd. Okay. So we will go over these numbers with them. They have them. We sent them over today. And like I said, October 23rd, we'll move forward with them.
Mike, or Dr. Janestri, it seems like every school, I think except for Maplemere, at least one year, there was a year of steady or decline.
Yep.
Is that a bubble year or what's the decline from?
It could be.
Were they specific in telling you that? Was the
Yeah, it could,
information-
they're looking at the live birth rates and census data from those neighborhoods that those schools are in. There could be a predictive decline in live births. It's just, or a real estate issue that might be happening. But even if you look at some of our, like I'm looking at Maplemere right now, 0.6, 1.1, 1.5, it goes from 658 to 628.
Yeah, it's not that much
It's-
of a,
yeah, it's
but some of
30
the other
students.
schools had, I think there was a 3-year where they, either a 2 or 3 year where they went down those couple of years and I just
Glendale.
stayed steady. Yeah.
Yeah. Even if we, Glendale right now at 451 and could have 20 more students in 10 more years, but it's the exceptional classrooms, the STEM areas that we're looking to add. Those are the ones that by adding those into the buildings now, it's created space issues throughout the rest because, years ago or 5 years ago, they weren't even there.
Right.
Or they were on a cart, right? Many years they were on
Yeah.
carts.
So like I said, this is basically for the purposes of the preliminary submission to state ed and facilities planning for our capital project, these numbers, things that we'll be submitting. And, like they said, when we talked to them back in July, we're an anomaly right now.
It's really about building our case.
Yeah.
And stating why we need the space, because they are not
Used to this.
ready, willing and able to just green light an addition.
Are other districts seeing this kind of, I mean, I know you don't have access to them, but it doesn't sound like other districts are seeing
No,
this
state
kind
ed
of
said,
growth.
again,
We're an
Mike
anomaly.
used a word that we were an anomaly. They said that.
Yeah.
Wow.
They said that.
They said they usually don't see enrollment growth across the state.
I think it also, you can sense the immediacy that we just can't put it off any longer.
It has to be addressed. We're very concerned about Maplemere and then look, Boulevard Mall is an X factor. We were very conservative, I think, Don, if you would agree, in our how many students could be generated from the Boulevard Mall project. And Maplemere is a concern.
The town planning group that we met with did say that, there could potentially be 1,500 homes, residences added on the Boulevard Mall site, but that was really over a 20-year period.
Yeah.
So we specifically asked for kind of give us your best guess at 2027 when it coincided with our capital improvement project. And they said anywhere from 300 to 400 homes. So, it's tough to pinpoint, but that's the information that we gave to Power School. That's the information based upon the type of residencies, because there's going to be single family housing, there's going to be student housing, there's going to be low income housing, things along those lines. So they took all of that information and this is kind of what they gave us. And to Mike's point, I found that Power School, of all the tools that we've used, are as close as any of them.
Yeah, and they use our historical data too, which was great because we have it all in there. So it just seemed like a natural for us to use this one. They do provide a conservative and a moderate view. We picked the conservative one because it just, it
It made your case for
Yeah,
you.
it's making our case. The conservative one is making our case. The moderate one, we're gonna talk to state ed about as well, so.
So what is the timeline with this? You submit it to the state and then they get back
Yep.
with you and
We really want to use this year to plan what this project is going to be. So I'm hoping by June of 2024 that we. 25, I'm sorry, June of 2025, that we have a very good idea of not only the scope of the project, but the financials. And that we use the fall of 2025 to go from the building to building to discuss the project, pitch the project, and prepare for the vote. So we expect to have a pretty good idea of where we are by the end of the school year.
We're still looking at a vote fall 25.
Yes, we are on track for a 2020
Probably
late fall 2025.
December, I think, probably.
Very late fall, early winter.
that's ambitious, but I think we need
December
to.
21st, so we're good.
Yeah.
Late.
Very
fall
late
makes sense.
fall,
Yeah.
very late fall.
And we've been talking about it since last year, really. This is year 2 of the planning phase. But we had a lot, there was so many X factors. There's Dexter Terrace, there's our growth. What are we doing with special ed programming? What are we doing with STEM programming? Everything from the mobile classroom at Maplemere. I mean, there are so many like little things that have been going on. But now we feel like we're getting in a more solid position to be able to pitch to state ed expansion at 2 of our buildings and renovations at the others. And I think it's going to start to flow once we get this work done. So
And I'll just add that, the Boulevard Mall, when we started talking
That's
about
another-
this, was a concept. Now they
Yeah.
have hard and fast plans. And we have a good idea as to the direction that they're heading, so that we can use that information to help us predict kind of where we're going and the impact on our enrollment. So the numbers tell a pretty good story.
yeah. Questions on the numbers? Just a few, I already mentioned that, but so we're moving forward. We're gonna put our next, we don't have a date yet, but we'll put one on within the next few days. We're gonna reach out to the Building Use Committee again to get our next meeting, since we have these numbers. It'll probably be after the October 23rd meeting. We also told the Building Use Committee that we would like to get Young and Wright and campus in to meet with them. It's going to happen this fall or later, early winter, to sit down with the Building Use Committee and go over everything of what we're trying to propose for the project. So we'll have an update meeting with them soon, and I'll report back out to the board.
The way, where you left it with the building use, just for my recollection, is before Thanksgiving, we'd probably
Yes.
meet. So sometime in the early part of November, I would think.
Yep.
Just to
Definitely, yeah, we
give a
definitely
better
want to go
timeline.
for Thanksgiving.
Yeah.
And then football, we do have a game Friday night. It's against Star Point, our final regular season game. The ticketing policy is still in place. We did make a couple of adjustments for the game. Tickets must be downloaded by 7:30 PM that Friday night. So if you do not have a ticket at 7:31, you will not get into the gate. We're really trying to manage the size of the crowd. Those with a ticket will be allowed to enter throughout the course of the game. But if, like I said, if you don't have a ticket by 7:30, you will not be allowed. Tickets are still free. You can go to our website, download your tickets and get in the game using the same procedures as you have in the past. I will caution that the team is doing, this isn't a caution, but the team is doing very well. I think we've only lost 1 game this year. We are predicting to have, knock on wood, a home playoff game. And that ticketing will be handled by Section 6. So we turn that over to Section 6. And I just want to prepare our community now that ticketing, if we do have a home playoff game, will be handled. There will be an admission charge as well, but Section 6 handles all of those ticketing for
And-
playoff games.
Just for the record, that is senior night. So if
Yep.
you are participating in the senior activities, you will need your tickets prior to that.
Yes, absolutely. Thank you.
And it says that those with tickets will be allowed to enter throughout the course of the game, but
Yep.
not leave and come back,
They,
correct?
no reentry.
Excellent.
Anybody in eighth grade or lower must be accompanied by a parent at all times. The bag policy will still be in place, as well. And we did make another change. We moved the gate back, further to the end of the track, which really, helped us control with crowd control as well. So, should be a great game Friday night. The weather is looking pleasant. But and the team is looking really good too. So it's an exciting time for football. We do have a special guest that's going to join the team, and Buffalo Bills legend Stevie Johnson will be at the game. He's speaking to the team before they take the field, because on Saturday we're hosting a kind of a fitness running event with Stevie Johnson and his group from E2M, which is Eager to Motivate, which is a fitness group. They're holding a kind of a 1.3 mile walk run fitness fest here. Stevie will be in attendance, and we're getting the word out. We're helping Stevie and E2M get the word out. Stevie also is going to be at Glendale at 1 o'clock on Friday to kind of talk to students there in an assembly. If you've ever got to see Stevie play, he was an excellent wide receiver for the Buffalo Bills, but he's even a better personality as well. So he's writing children's books, and they're unveiling a children's book on Saturday, I believe. But he'll be talking to the kids about his children's books at Glendale. So if you get a chance to come on over at 1, meet Stevie Johnson, it'll be a really cool event. But the running event will be on the 19th at 8 a.m. Sorry. It's partnered with Buffalo Bills legend Stevie Johnson. He'll speak to the football team prior to the game. He's making an appearance at Glendale, like I said. We're not sure if he will do the coin flip, but they're part of the proceeds from the running event do go to the Sweet Home Varsity Club as well. So win-win for all of us, and looking forward to a really busy weekend here. It's going to be nice. And that's what I have tonight.
Does anybody have any questions?
Thank you, everybody.
All right. Let's see. We have our retreat tomorrow. Friday, we have Glendale and Heritage have Halloween events. The Harvest Dance at Willow Ridge on Saturday, as well as the Dollars for Scholars Craft Show. And the run that Dr. Genester just spoke of, conventions coming up. And our PTA meetings. This brings us to the first open session. Does anybody want to speak? Okay. May I have a motion and a second for consent agenda items A through H?
So moved.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed?
I was just gonna say, gonna do any discussion at all? I
The
mean, I
discussion.
don't have anything to say, but you didn't ask. So.
I didn't ask this time because I feel like we talked about everything last time. Oh, I guess I should have asked on H. Does anybody have anything to say on A through H?
I just want to say something about A, because every time I read the special ed, the different CSE meetings, it just amazes me how much these special ed teachers put into their kids' IEPs and how much goes into making sure those kids are successful. And I just have to mention that every month because they're just very special people.
Anything else?
Absolutely.
Okay, we did approve. Do we have oppose or abstain? No? We're good? Okay.
You're all good.
Informational items. Maisha, would you like to start?
Yeah, okay.
Move that closer to you. Look who's talking.
Okay, September was super eventful. We had homecoming, Spirit Week, Powder Puff, elections, the pep rally. Everybody enjoyed themselves and had a lot of fun. Niagara University step registration was due this week, and students are still allowed to drop classes if they feel like they aren't ready for that class. But other than that, schedules are finalized. A lot of kids expressed that they wanted more input for the homecoming theme, but they still had a lot of fun at the dance.
I think the biggest concern would be safety. During the pep rally, there was a fight between freshmen, and it was upsetting because that was the first pep rally of the year. And a lot of people left because they felt unsafe. And what added onto that was the hold in place that we had a few days after that. And even though an email was sent out to parents about what happened, a lot of people said it wasn't an accurate representation of what had actually happened. And there are a lot of rumors being spread about student safety and police presence. And teachers were also uninformed about what happened. So more communication with students and teachers would be like a little bit more ideal.
I have to stop you there, because I was there, Dr. Wilson was there, Mr. Feldman were there from start to finish. We worked on the communication, the three of us ourselves. We were very clear about what happened. We were very clear about what we sent home to parents. And we were very clear about what went out to the staff that day. So I know there were rumors. I know a lot of things came out of that. But we did our best to squash those rumors and told people what we could do that day. So I just have to, I apologize. I just have to
No, no,
disagree
I
with you on that because there was a lot of things that were sent out. There was even a faculty meeting regarding that as well. So just want to clear the record and make sure that people know that we did send out a lot of pieces and there was a faculty meeting.
Okay, thank you. Student government had its first meeting on Thursday. Yeah, we went over expectations and senators were put into committees and we'll be picking head chairs for those committees next meeting. For October, we plan on continuing the Halloween costume contest, hopefully watch a scary movie after school, and we're looking forward to plan an after-school Fright Fest where students can perform with a group, display their talent, dress up, and dance. We discussed our main goals for this school year, which include microwaves and refrigerators added to the cafeterias, bringing back our school convenience store and the Panther Eye, and the hardest, which will take a lot more than just student government, which is potentially having more religious off days, with Eid being our main priority. A few senators will be working alongside the Heritage Heights PTA at their annual Haunted Halls Night. And lastly, seniors are expressing that the college application process can be a little bit stressful. So student government is reaching out to student services so we can find out ways to help seniors navigate the Common App and add more one-on-one support. That's
Great.
it.
Thank you so very much. Miriam?
So in between our meetings, I've had 2 PTA meetings. So I'll start with our first PTA meeting, and we went through introducing new staff members. But the major thing we talked about was some of the building priorities. Mr. Ryan reviewed a new student transition. I think this is his goal for the year. So he has an actual plan laid out where on day 0, when that new family comes, they do a family tour. They assign students to a temporary classroom so they can start to feel what's kind of fits them best. Day 1 is assign a student leader. That child follows the student around. Day 2, they follow the grade level schedule. And then on the 3rd day, it's the first day of their official grade level scheduled classroom. He's got a really great vision with this, and I know he's trying to make that transition easier for kids when they do come, as well as their families. So I think that's a great plan, and one that maybe is a good example for all our schools to follow, because it seems like I want to see how the year ends up with this.
Actually, we met with Ms. Delaplant today and she was talking about her new student welcome program as
Love it,
well.
love
So,
it. 'Cause
And we,
Yeah.
Mr. Ryan is actually piloting several parts of that because that's our goal, to roll out that plan across the entire district.
Excellent.
So I met with
because
them
it-
just last week to
Yes,
talk
I
about
mean,
it.
it sounds what we should be doing. So that sounds great. And then at our second meeting, we had the Student Lighthouse team, Student Lighthouse team come, and their goal is how to reach out to families and explain Leader in Me. The kids said that they do a great job in school, but let's get that out to the families now so they're understanding common verbiage. So they thought they would like to do a monthly newsletter, use Leadership Day to teach these families, and create monthly challenges for kids as far as using the Leader in Me verbiage, as well as how they can relate that to their everyday lives at home, and get the parents involved, because, as we go around day to day, the kids understand what's going on with Leader in Me, and we probably all do too, because we've gone through it.
Oh, yeah.
But the parents still, I think, are struggling a little bit to understand the full scope and how they can incorporate it into their lives. So I think what a great program that the kids are running, which fantastic. What else? And then I sat down with Mr. Ryan for one of our monthly meetings. He is using every available space. I mean, besides his office, I mean, he probably could turn that into a classroom, but he is using every available space. So there really is a urgency to get this done for there. And I'll stop there. Thank you.
Thank you.
Oh, wait, I gotta say Fall Fest that we did, and we were holding the goat. Finally got the picture of holding the goat at Fall Fest. Thank you.
Good night.
Mr. Johnson, you're up next.
It's not working right at the moment, but why am I not scrolling through the brain? Okay, I submitted a report to Sherry that she posted online, and I can only read half of it for some reason because it's not scrolling on my screen. But anyway, I had the Erie County Association of School Boards Legislative Team meeting. We talked about what went on over the summer, specifically coming up. The legislative breakfast is November 16th at 8:30 in the morning. We're trying to encourage not just our own members, but also the PTAs, PTASAs, PTOs. The Capital Conference, which is what we've dealt with the legislators in Albany, is being split again. They're doing the first part virtually, and then the following week, they're doing the legislative visits in Albany. I attended the ENL graduation ceremony. There was about 50 students who graduated. That was pretty cool. The audit committee meeting, which we talked about last week. I did the Willow Ridge PTO meeting. They had quite a few events going on. I know, and at least one of them, Mrs. Leibel, I know is chairing and got a lot of people working on. I also attended, and I can't get the rest of my screen for some reason, the, what else am I missing here? The alumni.
The voting thing.
Oh, that's, yeah, that's further down. I'm trying to get them in order here. The alumni board meeting, everything's going on in good shape there. They're talking about class reunions. So far, the class of 75 is the only one coming up next year. The Education Foundation had a meeting which was held at Raymore and Flanagan. And by doing that, Raymore and Flanagan is giving them a $500 donation. Plus, they also did a food drive. Was there something else with that, Don, besides just food? I don't remember.
No, it's just food.
Just food, okay, that they did that for us too as part of the press. And one of the things that they did talk about is a couple of members attended the Birthday Squad fundraiser. The Birthday Squad is another organization that's putting together birthday gift bags for our students to get the same students that are getting the weekend backpack program, the food for that. So they were sending those out too. They also have a program going on with Roy's right now where you can vote for them to get, I think it's also a $500 prize. It's doing it right as of now. I know we've got about 95 or 96% of the vote. The basketball game is coming up in November, and I know we're talking about following the same ticketing procedure. I'm assuming you guys have talked about. Okay, I'll stop right there. The Building Use Committee, which we already discussed, and our Resolutions Committee, which I know we talked a lot about last week. Just for general information, the everything that was recommended by the committee was approved, and everything that was not recommended except for one were rejected, and the one that was approved was about allowing judges to require bail for threats. Again, it was much more detailed, but threats against schools, teachers or students, staff or students, excuse me. It did come in a couple hours shorter than last year. Should have been more than that, but that's what it goes. Okay, that's it.
Thank you for doing that.
Mhm.
Thanks. Mr. Leibel.
Yeah, I attended the PTSA meeting last week for the middle school. They had a couple of interesting things I thought. Part of this is I'm learning as well. It's being a new liaison there. But they have 3 activity nights, one in October, January, and March, and they usually get about 400 students at those events. So that's something nice that they're planning. The one thing I thought was really kind of neat was a new event is a book swap, which is essentially families bringing books to taking an evening, and you can bring books and essentially swap them with other families. So there's an opportunity to do that, but they're considering incorporating what they are calling a poetry slam with this, which is, and perhaps they do this in the school, and then they get down to a few students that may be like the top 10, and then they would go on stage and read their poems. So they would incorporate that, which I thought was really a neat event between doing the book exchange and then, having students there to kind of showcase their poetry in that. So this is something that's being planned for down the road. But again, I just thought it was interesting. The other thing I wanted to mention that I was pleased to hear is the Leader in Me program. They expressed that is growing. The number of students participating and being ambassadors and participating in Leader in Me programs at the school is growing by quite a bit. So, and the indications is that they're really making an effort to kind of incorporate that more and more into the thinking of the students and whatnot, and in an understanding in a different way than would be done at the grade school. So, I think that's great because, and I will say on a personal level, I read Stephen Covey's books. I probably shouldn't say it shows how uncool I was, but I read them in late high school, early college, and those my kids are surprised because, and I am just as surprised that they know all of these 7 habits and whatnot, but they really are helpful. And a lot of the education and the knowledge piece can fade away, but it's really the character and the leadership and the ability to solve problems and that makes such a strong difference. So I'm really pleased to see this program as part of our strategic plan, being implemented and moving forward. The fun run, just to piggyback off of what Scott mentioned for Willow Ridge, that was last week. And another thing I thought was kind of neat for that, and this is a little bit of a plug for my wife, Jen, because she worked on these, they provided shirts this year for the teachers and faculties. And they may do this every year, but the shirts this year were a play on the Bills Shout song, which, let's go hey, let's go Buffalo. And it was, hey, let's go Willow Ridge. So it was kind of neat because a lot of times you're given things that you may not wear again, but, this could be worn. A lot of the teachers expressed that this would be something they would wear, on every Bills at the school on, the Bills Fridays. They usually wear, Bills colors and whatnot. So again, a nice thing for that not only was nice for the fun run and that, but which by the way exceeded their goals and they did raise more than they had expected, which would cover their budget again this year, and they've done that in the past. So that's also nice to see that that's working well for them. But again, getting back to the shirts, it just was kind of neat to see that the teachers will be able to reuse these going forward. So, I was at the audit committee meeting the week before or so, and we cover that as well. But that's really all I have at this point.
Great, thanks so much. Dirk?
Sure. I have a question for Scott on the resolutions. Does the committee, legislative team follow up with how those resolutions fail or pass, or if there's any shoes to them, does it get anywhere in the legislature?
Our local legislative team?
Who would follow the resolutions that you just passed? They get
NISBA will publish a report that becomes their legislative agenda for the coming year.
Okay.
So everything that was passed there and things that are carried over from the previous years are the stuff that they will work on. And they publish a report on that. It'll be out before the end of the year.
Before the end of the year. Okay. All right. So there is another step to it. It's not like
Yeah.
something we're passing.
Now, and then they actually, in the last NISBA newsletter, they did do a report out on where the things stood that they were working on, in particular, the various bills that were in there, whether they got anywhere with them, whether they were stuck in committee, whatever it might be.
Okay, it's good to know. I just kind of curious how that all ends up. So I was able to make the Heritage Heights PTA meeting. I didn't have a lot of time there again. My conflict for Monday nights has now gone away, so Mondays going forward, it won't be a problem to attend the full session. They always have in the meetings I've attended, have pretty good participation. I like the fact that the mothers, the parents bring their children, they get to play in the background, doesn't seem to bother anybody. It certainly didn't bother me. And they talked about their major fundraising thing, which was, I think, the fun run also, and they do quite a good job with that. They also do some sponsorship. I was able to become some kind of sponsor, my wife and and I want to verify, and they did confirm that I am a PTA member at Heritage. I wasn't sure if I was, but I still am. So the principal spoke a little bit about a survey sending out to the families on the Leader in Me project and his desire to become a lighthouse school. And I didn't get to stay for a whole lot more. They again, I can't tell you how well run that little PTA is, and the leadership there, Katie, and always kind of get a little kick out of attending that. So that's all I have. Thank you. Oh, I'm sorry. I did have Sherry post the minutes so that you can see what transpired.
Great. Thank you so much.
All right.
Danny?
Got to move my mic closer so Don doesn't get upset. So you can hear me. So I did not get to attend Glendale's PTA last week because I was here with you guys. So, but their PTA is amazing. Jamie Mancine is doing a knockout job at keeping everything super organized. They've got a lot of events coming up. Their trunk or treat, and I think they've got some pumpkin run on the same night that's happening. I did attend their open house last month and their chicken barbecue. Karen Delaplant offered to tour me around the building last week. So I got to go and walk the halls of Glendale, which I have not gotten to do since my child was there many years ago. So she filled me in on all of their building action teams. I think they've got 11 at this point. So to the one that Maple Muir was talking about, theirs is called New Cubs on the Block, which welcomes new students to the building. And they've got like a whole thing that they do for these kids, which I thought was really adorable. I attended a mental health webinar that our Ann Nowak was a panelist on, which was enlightening. It talked about mental health in schools and like what some of the different perspectives are between elementary, middle school, and high school, because it looks different for all levels of our students. And other than that, I'm just busy putting together my costume for the Glendale trunk or treat for my son and I this weekend. And maybe if I'm lucky, I will also get to go to Heritage Heights, their haunted hallways.
Can you tell us what you're going to be?
Oh, I am going, if any of you are familiar with Yo Gabba Gabba, the children's show. It's strange, Marianne, but it's a
Look
weird
at me,
show,
it's
but
strange.
it's in rotation in my household. So I am dressing as DJ Lance and my, we'll take pictures, don't worry. And my son Matthew is going as Broby, the little green monster. So,
Okay,
yeah.
pictures, please.
Oh, absolutely. Yeah, every year.
Love it.
Can I add one more thing? I just forgot about this. The
You're
haunted
dressing
hall,
up
haunted
as-
halls things that Heritage Sites, they wanted to promote that. They're still looking for volunteers on that. Are you volunteering?
I can't. I'm attending,
Oh,
but my son
okay.
won't let me. volunteer for that.
Okay. Okay, and
Is that
go ahead. I'm sorry. That's all I have.
it? Okay. Mr. Bellanti?
Just a lot of senior stuff, powder puff, football, volleyball. I was at the senior game for volleyball, which is tonight, and I'm rushing right out of here now after my information session because the game's almost over. So really that's about it for me. So.
Go enjoy the game.
Thank you.
Good.
See everybody
Good night.
tomorrow.
I attended the high school PTSA meeting. I attended via Zoom. Been a little bit crazy at work, so I wasn't able to physically go. But they're in really good shape. They're doing, they've got all their stuff ready to go for the craft fair this week, and they're in really good shape for the scholarships that they do. They did comment that they have 96 current members, and the bricks that they sell it's starting to fill up nicely, and they really are very pleased with the way it looks.
Where are those?
Right outside of the high school by the flagpole,
And they're there?
they're there.
We got a brick, so I'm gonna have to go see that tomorrow.
Yes, we'll make a point to stop. So they're doing really great. I also have attended a lot of senior things. Friday night's football game is senior night. Hot off the press, the varsity cheer team took third in their competition today. Other than that, I think that's everything.
Was anybody concerned that the school board was gonna go to their buildings? I kind of got a little question on why we were going to Heritage Heights and what are you gonna do there? What are you gonna see?
Could you kindly remind them that we do this almost every year? We got away from it with COVID, but we're going back because it's important to us to know to be in touch with our kids.
I think what he's
that's-
getting at is that we're going to two of the elementary and two of them were not, but we did that in the past. We picked two and we.
Well, we
switch off
divide and
on.
conquer.
Yeah, exactly.
And that's what we've always done as far as I
Exactly.
know.
And I was
Exactly.
definitely reminded which ones you were at and which ones you were not. So. So there is a purpose for the plan for tomorrow and,
I mean, they were fine with it. They're just kind of curious. And I told them that's just the way the board connects to
Yeah.
the building.
Well, and I
Be
think in the
everywhere.
past,
I
we've
think
done
this
them
is a
on,
natural cure. What do you mean you're coming to our buildings? Should
well, I
we?
think in the past, we've done a Friday, so
Yeah.
maybe it's
Yeah.
more of a curiosity that it's the middle of the week, but you know, we like our people and we want to, shake hands, kiss and babies.
I wouldn't read a
No.
lot into it. So
I'm just
maybe
kidding.
they wanted to prepare a welcome type party or something. for us.
That's very
Maybe.
possible.
I don't,
That's gotta
I
be
don't
it.
think that's gonna happen.
no, sure it's not.
They want to make sure we have our badges.
Yes.
But yes, for the community at large that may not know, we do try to get to buildings at least once a year. It kind of fell off a little bit with COVID, not being able to be in the buildings, but we're bringing that back because it's something that we've all enjoyed and expressed desire to do again.
Okay.
Okay, with that brings us to our second open session. Nope, okay, personnel. Can I have a motion and a second for consent agenda 1 and 2?
So moved.
Second,
Oh, okay. Can I, on the question, I want to make a comment on one part of the personnel, if I can.
Okay,
I think this is a spot I can do that, correct?
sure.
I don't think it's not gonna impact my vote one way or the other, but years ago, when negotiating with the teachers union, we seldom did we have to pay for additional things they did. It was naturally done. So over the years, it seems like more and more extra things they do. That's of course us asking them to do it. So naturally, they would ask for some stipend for that. I understand that, but it's just kind of disappointing that it would evolve to the point that it becomes a negotiable item every time, we ask them to do something else. Again, the point of trying to make is, it's just from a historical point of view. I remember when, and it came from presidents of the teachers union. Teachers used to do this as part of their job. So now that we're starting to offer them stipends to do it in a certain way, that from that point on became a regular thing and had to become part of the negotiations. So again, I'm not picking on anybody here. The union's there, in my mind, to get more or do more for their members. And I guess we're on the other side of that and say, well, how does that help the kids? But anyways, that's my comment. That's all I had.
well, go ahead.
Okay,
I understand what you're saying. It's just our teachers work hard and we have asked them, and you agree with that. I know you do. They work hard and we've asked them to do a lot. And for the most part, I think they've really responded and done our kids well. I don't have a problem with any of these teams because this is above and beyond what they're doing on a normal school day. So I don't have a problem with,
Yeah.
Any of this.
No one should have to work for free,
yeah.
honestly.
Well, again, it becomes what part of the job description is their regular salary and what part is outside. And
But that's what this is.
well,
that
I
we're voting on.
understand that, but that became this way because years ago, we made it that way.
But
That-
should we
that's-
keep it the same forever and never change or evolve or improve?
I don't know how to answer that. You know, so we're paying for this and again, it's part of negotiations. And by the way, I didn't settle that contract and I know there was a lengthy discussion on that over time. So, you know, if the question then becomes, if this is already contractual, what do I need my vote for? What do you need my vote for? And what happens if it gets defeated? I guess that won't happen, but what happens if it gets defeated?
These people don't get paid.
What's that?
These people will not get paid.
These committees, well, some of them have to happen because they're state mandated, but yeah, they won't get paid.
Well, if it's contractual that they get paid for something in addition, let's take a sports coach or something, one of the athletes,
But
the
The
coaches.
contract says upon approval of the Board of Education. So
Okay.
if we don't approve them, they don't get appointed to that position, which would mean they don't get paid for it. So they wouldn't be doing it, the job.
Okay. All right, that
Well, I
makes
think
sense.
we're voting on the appointment, not on the position.
Not on the position.
Not
No,
on the existence
we
of the
vote on the
person.
appointment of that particular person for that particular role.
Yeah.
And if we deny the appointment, then that particular person would not
Yeah.
be
I
in
think
that
in
role.
regards to this vote, you know, my perspective is the discussion on whether or not it's allowed, whether the financial element was one we had.
Back with
last year.
negotiations.
This is now whether or not I think we agree or disagree with the recommendation of these
People.
individuals to be appointed to those positions, which, you know, my vote will be yes, because I have confidence in the administration and in the leadership to make those decisions, and I see no reason to object. But you know, it's good that we have discussion to always keep an open mind, and but I do think the teachers are doing a good job, and part of it is also an important. We have to look at this in terms of the whole society and being competitive to attract the best talent, because, you know, certain benefits weren't available years ago, talking in the private sector, that maybe are now, that in order for me to attract certain employees, I need to provide for. So, you know, there's a lot of pieces to it. But it's, yeah, I just wanted to clarify that we're not voting on the funding part, we're voting on the appointment.
Exactly. Okay, so all in favor? Aye.
Aye.
Opposed? So, okay. Can I have a motion and a second to adjourn the meeting?
So moved.
Second?
All in